Hi there, in this screencast I'm going to show you how to add text to the screen of your game, which obviously you may need for scorekeeping or just messages or anything that the user is going to read. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to first go up and declare a variable whose type is sprite font. So this is a unique variable type for XNA, just like texture 2D and rectangles are. And I'm going to give my name, my font, or my sprite font, the name SF. So for sprite font, bold, yellow, 24. That's going to be a description of it. And let's see, bold, Arial, yellow. Well, actually, let me just call it bold Arial 24. So that's a description of what kind of font it's going to be, and you'll see in a second how you make it be bold Arial 24. Okay, so after I've declared that variable, I'm going to go down to no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go over to Solution Explorer, and I'm going to scroll up to, once again, the folder that has the line of that has content in parentheses on it. Select that and then go to right click, go to add new item. This time I'm going to do sprite font, and I'm going to call my sprite font bold Arial 24 font. And then I'm going to add that, and then this window will pop up. So this window is where you actually set the font. It's in XML, what's called XML. You don't really need to know too much about XML. You just need to know where to change a few items to make them be what you want. So if you look at line 14, it says to go UI mono. That's the name of the font you want to use. So if you might want to look up font names, you can do that by opening Word, right-clicking, trying to change the font, looking at all the font names that you can use, and you can also do that by, well, actually, that's probably the easiest way. Either that or a Google Doc or anything that has text in it where you can change the font. Now I'm going to go down to where it says 14. That's the font size. I'm going to make it 24. And then for style, I'm going to make it bold. That's on line 38. So those changes are saved automatically. And so after I do that, I can just, well, it asks you if you want to save them, I guess. So when I exit out of that, I save changes to it. Click yes. Okay, so now in load content, I'm going to go down and assign that font to my sprite font variable. So I'm going to say SF bold Arial 24 equals this dot content dot load angle bracket or less than symbol sprite font, and then parentheses, and in quotation marks I do the name of the font that I made in that XML file that I added to the project. So it's going to be bold Arial 24 font. Okay, and now I'm ready to draw text on the screen. So it happens down where you draw, and that occurs where you draw your images. In the same section of code between spritebatch.begin and spritebatch.end, you add any lines of code to draw text. So the way you do it, instead of just spritebatch.draw to draw a rectangle, you do spritebatch.drawString, and then you do an open parenthesis. Okay, so now the pop-up menu kind of tells you what you need for the parameters. So the first thing you need is the name of your sprite font variable. So it's going to be, in my case, that one. That's actually the only one I have. And now the location is what I want to have drawn is the next thing. So I'll just have my monster heading drawn. So I'm going to do monster heading. Now, if you want to put an int, draw an int value, you would do the name of your int variable and then you would do plus empty quotation marks. That will change it into a string. But my monster heading is a string variable, so I don't need to do anything to it. All right, the next thing I need to draw is, or I need to specify as a parameter, is going to be the location. So this is a little bit tricky. You want to pay attention to this. It has to be in the form of a vector2, which is essentially just a location on the screen. So I say new vector2, and the vector2 has to have an x and a y value, and they actually have to be, you'll see in a second, they have to be float values. So I'm going to draw it in the middle of the screen. So I'm going to do screen width divided by 2 comma screen height divided by 2. And now you'll see an error that tells you that you actually need float values. Float is a data type similar to a double variable. So what I do to convert that into a float value, I put parentheses float in front of screen width, and I put parentheses float in front of screen height. Okay, so that's my location on the screen. And then the last thing I need to do is specify a color. So I'm going to make it yellow, color.yellow. And then I do a semicolon. So what's going to happen is at any given time, every time the draw method executes, it should draw what the value of the monster's heading is on the screen, roughly in the middle of the screen. So let's give it a shot. I'm going to run it, and sure enough, that's what it's doing. Okay, so let me escape, and that's it.